Hey guys, I hope you're all doing well and welcome back to the automation campaign, where in today's episode we are going to do a highly requested thing, which is make better engines. The engines we have, although very efficient, are underpowered, like very underpowered, so that's something we are going to work on for this episode. And what better way to do it than to pair it with a new car? We'll see how it goes. I think we're gonna design some good engines that will see us through probably to the end of the campaign. Maybe with a minor facelift in between, but yeah, let's see how it goes. So let's start with the high performance engine, and this is it. A 2.8 litre V6 twin turbo with 365 horsepower and 565 Newton meters of torque, and I think this is an amazing engine. I think this is exactly the kind of engine we need now, because we can put this in almost any car, right? We can put this in almost any car, and it's reliable. It's very, very reliable. It's... where is it? Where's the reliability thing? Okay, it's 40. I will tweak that so it's a little bit more reliable. But, yeah, this is a really powerful engine, and I'm very happy with the way it turned out. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make around a 300 horsepower variant of it with turbos. And then I'm going to do a naturally aspirated variant and see how powerful we can get that. If I can get it anywhere near the 200-220 horsepower mark, I'll be very happy. Because that means we sort of cover all segments with this engine of high performance, sort of economy variant of that high performance, and then just the entry level of that engine. And yeah, very happy with the way this turned out. So let's go and make the other two. So yeah, this engine has a much more... the turbo comes in a lot earlier than the 360 horsepower model. This has a 300 horsepower, very respectable, 440 Newton meters of torque, also very respectable. So this is going to be a very good mid-ranged engine for this for future cars. And yeah, I think this company is heading more and more into that high premium demographic with performance and everything. So slowly we're extracting more and more power out of this company, and it's really, really exciting. So let me just quickly do the naturally aspirated variants, and then we'll get on to the economic engines. And the naturally aspirated engine has 200 horsepower, which is a nice amount. It's a nice amount. I'm very happy with 200 horsepower. But it also has 270 Newton meters of torque, and that goes pretty much the whole way through. It never dips below 200 in its entire rev range, which means this engine is always going to have torque at that crankshaft, ready to push the car forwards. But no, seriously, this is a really, really fun engine. I feel like this is going to be a heavy outlier in sort of an enthusiastic scene, because it's got what an engine needs. It has low-end torque, it has high-end power, it probably sounds amazing. So yeah, wait, let me give it a little test sound. I like that a lot. This is a really nice engine. Oh, underutilized octane. We could get some more power out of this engine. Woo! Or some more efficiency. Oh, we can. I didn't even realize we can get a lot more power out of this engine than I expected. Still has underutilized octane. More compression. Oh, that is nice. That's a lot more power. Oh, let's see if we can get it to 210 horsepower. Yes, right. I want to try and get 285 Newton meters of torque out of this engine. It's a very easy way where I just reduce the size of the headers a little bit, increase the fuel flow, and then make that a bit bigger. Come on. Oh, we're so close. We're so close. I want to get exactly 210 and 185 Newton meters of torque. Let me quickly do that and I'll be back with you, because I imagine this is going to take a little bit of time. It didn't. All I had to do was make the header size one more. But 210 horsepower, 285 Newton meters of torque. We're happy with that. We're going to end it there. Done. I'm very happy with this engine. I can't wait to put this into our cars, because not only will it be more fun for me to drive, but I imagine it'll be a lot more fun for you guys to watch these cars being thrashed around the track. So I'm going to try and have it out in about, I want to say 8 years. That will be 2014. Let's see if we can get it out for 6 years, so 60 months. We're gonna have to make the engines a little bit more expensive. We're gonna have to go, and we've got funding, so let's just maximize all of those. And yeah, increase reliability a little bit, increase the automation so we can produce more engines, and that's where we're going to stick it with. Factories, do we want to bother with a factory so far? I mean, let's make a new factory. We're going to put this into a lot of cars, so we're going to go with a huge factory, but or at least a huge plot for the time being. We'll go with a large 3 factory. That'll produce 17,000 engines, which not too bad. We will put on this stuff because I don't think I've really done any of this. And any other. That looks so cool though. I love the way this factory looks. Yeah, I don't think I ever really put on any of this stuff here, so yeah, that works. So let's, it's factory output 1.84 million engines. I imagine this is going to be a very expensive factory, like a very expensive factory. Yeah, 40 months until, how long does it actually take to make this factory? 48 months, so we can wait 48 months until people join. There you go, that'll be fine. And yeah, 1.2 billion, but honestly, we have the funds. Like, we genuinely have the money for this, so let's increase that, let's increase that, let's increase, I mean, we're just going to increase everything here. So there you go, we're going to be producing a lot of engines. And sorry if you hear my PC in the background, it is currently apparently very warm. But yeah, we're going to be producing a lot of engines for 5,000 each, apart from the naturally aspirated variant, which is 3,600. And yeah, that'll be perfectly fine because they're going to go in more expensive cars anyway. We'll pull out the profit that way. So yeah, let's see how expensive this entire project will be. 2.3 billion. Not bad. We can live, we can definitely not take a loan out on that one. But yeah, so let's work on the next engine. And instead of making a new engine, how about we just repurpose these engines by just putting some turbos onto them and trying to optimize them to be the best they possibly can be. We have 360 horsepower, we have 300 horsepower, 220. I want to try and achieve different powers from these engines to try and get every part of that range as possible up to that 360. So we've got the 250 horsepower model up here, which is probably overtuned, to be honest. But we do have these other 2 models, and I'm tempted to put turbos onto them so that the slowest engine has about 140 horsepower and the second slowest engine has around, I want to say, to 170, 180 horsepower, which means we can sort of get every part of that range as possible. So let's see what we can do here. And that is exactly what we've got here. Well, we've got 170 horsepower, and I think I've got to make the intercooler a little bit smaller. That is ridiculous how little it's doing, but yeah, I think this turned out like a pretty decent engine. I'm very happy with the way it turned out, and maybe we could still squeeze a couple more Newton meters out of the engine, or 8.1 of a Newton meter. Which isn't a lot, but it does add, it does make a difference. So let's see if we can do it. Well, we've managed to do that, so we can increase this a little bit, and then we can make the exhaust a bit smaller. There you go, and then we can increase fuel system. There you go. So 245 horsepower, 245 Newton meters of torque, 170 horsepower, and let's work on the second variant of this engine, which will have about 130, 140 horsepower, and that way we should be able to cover everything off. I think, however, we are going to end the production of the high-performance turbo variant of the 4-cylinder. Mainly because we now have the 6-cylinder, which is sort of taking its place and broadening its spectrum a little bit. And I think it'll be beneficial if we do it that way, because that means we'll have a bit more parity between each engine. So yeah, I think that's what we're going to do. Is we're going to we're going to now do a 140, 130 horsepower variant of the 1.6 liter, and then yeah, we'll see how things go. Hopefully not too bad. And yeah, just put it in between 135 horsepower, which is perfectly good for this engine, and 250 Newton meters of torque. So I'm very happy with the way this engine's turned out. It may be a little bit underpowered for 1.6 liter, but it's more of an eco variant of, it's the most economical variant of all engines that we're going to be making, and the slowest. So I think it's an acceptable output for this engine. So yeah, let's finish off this, like the whole design thing, and then we can actually work on the car, because I don't know how long this has been since the start of it, but yeah. So the problem is the engine factory is going to need a retooling, which is going to take up a lot of time. But one thing that actually, let's see if we can get it in for about 6 months. If we put it into full learning, there you go, 6 months, 6 years. So that means this engine will also release at the exact same time as the V6, which is brilliant. I'm very happy with that. So let's figure out the factory and then, yeah, actually make a car, because honestly, that's a lot of engine work that we've been doing. We need to make more engines. I've just realized. Let's put some of this stuff on the on here, and hopefully we can therefore make some more engines. Yeah, it doesn't seem like it. Is there a way I can just make even more engines? I can increase worker wages and increase their quality, which is something that actually I will do. And then I can increase automation and increase quality, tooling quality, and that way we're producing the absolute maximum amount of engines. The engine factory still overworked like crazy, but there you go. Average total cost between each engine is about 2,700, which is perfectly fine for me. And yeah, let's sign off on that. This is yeah, a big step, because this now means that every engine apart from the low-end V6 is turbocharged, and this is also another 1.3 billion dollar project, which means we're spending almost 4 billion on engines, which honestly I'm not too worried about for some reason. I don't know why. It's not like we have 12.2 billion in the bank. So yeah, let's get started on, I guess, making a facelift? I don't know, how are we looking here? So we need a facelift of the Utforsker, the Fromote, the Upart would need a facelift at some point, the VMR we're just going to leave for its own thing. The Crid, it needs a new model, so we'll just make a new Crid. That's the plan now. Let's make a new Crid. And this is the platform we're going to use, and the reason why we're using this platform precisely is because this platform has many different bodies that sort of work, that look very similar, so we could make an entire company based off of this body, which I'm very close to doing, because it would mean that each car is more and more similar to one another, meaning that the brand identity just gets stronger as it goes. So yeah, this is going to be the platform. For the time being, we are going to put in the, where is it, the R2 engine, so the 170 horsepower engine, and we are going to do front wheel drive. We're going to go with advanced automatic 6-speed. Let's do 6-speed for the time being. And yeah, 250 kilometers an hour is not bad top speed. We'll do an open diff, as this isn't the high performance model. We'll go with medium compound tires. 215s are quite thin, so let's see here. If we can morph this out a little bit. 225s are actually quite wide. But yeah, 215s. We'll do 215s. 17-inch rims. Let's do 18-inch for like the big boys. Yeah. We'll do vented discs on the front, solid discs on the rear. We'll make them a bit bigger, make them a bit more comfortable. They are probably going to start fading, so we'll just have to focus on trying to get that down. A flow optimized under tray. We'll go with a premium interior with a premium sat-nav. That is now an affordable thing apparently. Oh yeah, we need a sat-nav. Let's do sat-nav. We'll do electric power steering with electronic stability control, standard 2000 safety, and yeah, we'll go with a progressive, semi-active, and active. Actually, let's go adaptive. Let's go adaptive dampers. And yeah, this is good. The demographs love it. All the demographs love it. We'll make it a bit taller. Let's put a normal preset on it for the time being, just to see where it goes. And yeah, let's make it about 280 millimeters tall. That looks all right. So yeah, let me get to styling this thing, getting the basis of this vehicle working, how are the brakes looking? A tiny bit of fade. A teeny tiny bit of fade. So let's make him a teeny tiny bit bigger. The rear ones, we'll keep 280, and what we're going to do is we're going to do just a tiny bit of brake airflow. And that way, we should be able to have no brake fade. Oh, please. There you go. Big rear brakes, very big rear brakes, but it's all in the name of trying to get as little fade as possible, and lots of force on the front. Yeah, this is just me faffing around now, so let me actually get to design this car, and I'll be back with you guys shortly. And after quite a bit of work, I'm going to say like 3 hours? 2-3 hours, something like that, we've got this. And I think it looks alright. I think it matches the time period very nicely. Because the way that the cars were designed around 2010, 2012, is they tried to make the designs connect with one another. Meaning that the upper section and the lower section was connected in somehow, and usually that was some form of plastic. And this is our plastic. But yeah, no, I think this car turned out pretty nice. I think it looks the part. I think it looks good for the time. And yeah, I mean, there's not all that much I can say about it really, apart from that it looks like a car. So yeah, this is going to be our decent model, I say, our mid-range model. We'll do the 135 horsepower model, and then we'll see if we can squeeze a V6 into here, but we'll have to see. So I'll get to work on that. And not to forget the turbo variant, and I managed to squeeze a 300 horsepower the 300 horsepower V6 into here. I don't know whether the 365 horsepower variant would be too much, but 300 horsepower is a good base point for this car. And yeah, this is it. Absolutely incredible. It apparently gets over 1.1 G of cornering, and it's just ridiculous in every way, shape and form. I put a little bit of a body kit on it, I just made the spoiler a bit bigger, but yeah. Essentially just made the tyres wider, put all-wheel drive on it, and my goodness is it going to be fast. So let's get this car up for sale and see how it does, because I imagine this is going to be so much fun. Oh, 300 horsepower in a teeny tiny hatchback. Yeah. Hold on, let me actually go here, and it needs to be 16 months until this vehicle gets produced. So we will make sure of that's going to happen. So let's do that, exactly. Let's go to factory manager, let's make a new factory actually, because once we do want to replace the grid, we'll do the facelift on the grid, we'll still want to have the factory available for us. So once again, we're going to go with a huge factory. A huge car factory. Oh yeah, because the 2 engines now. Oh, this is crazy. So we're just going to chuck all of this on here because we have money now. It's going to be another many billion-dollar investment. And yeah, limited production due to glued aluminium chassis. I don't see limited production here if I'm producing almost 40,000 cars. that is just crazy. So we'll stick that to around there. We'll do workers' wages. We'll do about 80%. We'll increase the quality to about that much. And yeah, automation higher. We'll do quality higher as well. And this factory looks like it's going to be a huge success for us if this is the true numbers of these cars. So let's increase QA threshold. And yeah, my brain has turned into mashed potatoes, by the way. I'm just sort of trying to see if we can get this to work somehow. And yeah, this car is a lot more expensive, but it's something that's going to really make a lot of profit if the sports segment has anything to do by. So we'll do 20,000. We'll do the essential model is the slow one. We'll do 13,500, and this model will do 14,000. So let's calculate a forecast, and it's going to lose us money from the beginning. I don't understand why this is actually. So we're not making any profit from this car from the beginning. Is there a reason for that? Trying to figure that out. So stock is high, stock is non-existent. I think it's because the engine factory in basically doesn't exist yet. I think that's going to be the issue. So we are going to make profit on it, don't worry. So we'll just sign off on it, and then we'll take it into BeamNG.drive, which is something I'm very much looking forward to. Another $4 billion project. We're going to be left with nearly no money after this. Well, I say nearly no money. We'll have at least 5 billion left over after this entire video is done. But yeah, so let's take the cars into BeamNG.drive and drive them. Alright, and here we are in BeamNG.drive, and I don't think this looks too bad. The headlights do look very washed out for some reason. I have no idea why that is, but yeah, let's give this car a little drive and see what happens. I think it's going to drive quite nicely, and it appears I've spawned in some weird deserty place. But yeah, one thing I can tell right away is that as time progresses in the game, the cars start to become more predictable. They have more grip. They start to feel a lot more stable. So yeah, I'm really liking the way this car drives. The stability controls are keeping this car in check very, very nicely. I mean, I'm just going full throttle, and yeah, it's driving like a normal car. The suspension is working beautifully. I do actually really like the way this car drives and the way it looks. I mean, I think it will be a bit of a design, like a dividing design, but I think it works. It's difficult because I want to try and make these cars look as good as possible, but I want to try and make them in not 15 hours. So yeah, it's a decent car. I'm very much liking it. Drives very nicely. It's very fast as well. Definitely fast enough for this kind of car. And I mean, I'm not pushing it right now. I'm just sort of driving it how I would normally do. Oh, that grip! It's just next level. It's genuinely insane how grippy this car is. I can't wait to see how the V6 does around the circuit. If this is anything to go by, we have a fast car on our hands. Oh, and accident. I mean, would it really be a video if I didn't have an accident in it? I don't think it. I don't think that would be a. I don't think so. And so here we are. 3, 2, 1. Lights out, and off we go. We're gonna go to manual mode. We're gonna go to the bonnet to try and get the best view of this car. Oh, that is a horrific view of this car. Oh, it's so fast. I'm gonna brake a lot here. I don't want to damage the suspension. Although the suspension can take quite a lot. Oh, oh, it turns. Oh, oh, oh my goodness. This is fast. Sorry if I'm not commenting much on this, but this is just crazy. It's a lot faster than I expected. I mean, yes, it has 300 horsepower, but nothing prepares you quite for how fast something can be. And this is definitely one of those circumstances, and the way it takes corners, it's just glued to the surface. It's a very rough surface, so it's very good to know that it's able to glue itself to such a rough surface. This is just incredible. This is my handle hub, my first attempt, and we got a bit of a bump. Brake early, brake some more, take the corner nicely, don't crash into that outside wall. Oh, try not to go too wide. Just had one little bump against the wall, but apart from that, things went quite well so far. Let's try and beeline it to the start finish on 121. That is what? That is crazy how fast it is. That is over 10 seconds quicker as to the second fastest time. I can't remember what it was. But, why does it say 3 attempts? I don't know. Oh yeah, because I started one just so I could get the traction control off. But that is just ridiculous. Oh my goodness. And I could probably get that to a sub 1 minute 20 if I really pushed hard. Wow. What a car. Oh, there you go. Once again, we're on the beach. Once again, the video comes to an end. I would like to thank everyone for watching. It has been an absolute pleasure making this video for you. I hope you enjoyed it. And yeah, I hope you guys have a lovely rest of your days. And yeah, bye-bye.